So how do you grow, and what should you be doing and what should you not be doing? One of the reasons that a lot of entrepreneurs are successful is they are type A personality control freaks. They take action reasonably quickly. Oftentimes they don't think anyone can do it as well as they can do it. Sometimes that's true. But as you grow, you're only going to be able to grow beyond what your capacity is if you begin to delegate to other people. And you should eventually get to the point that you realize that there are other people in your organization that can, in fact, do things better than you, particularly if you don't do them. Years ago, had a engineer that worked for me, smart guy, great engineer, and he was getting, as he began to get people to manage, he was beginning to run into a situation where he couldn't get everything done. And he would try to take it all on himself. And I went to him and I said, Ed, you have an awful lot of things that are stacking up that you're not done. And how come that is? And he said, well, it's just easier if I do it myself. I said, okay. So you truly don't believe that anyone can do it as well as you can do it? And he said, yeah. And actually, for the most of those things, that was probably true. He was just that good. But I said to him, well, let's think about that for a second. Can someone else not do it as well as you can do it if you don't do it, period? Well, no. If I don't do it, then obviously anybody who takes a stab at it will do better than if it doesn't get done at all. And that began to change the way he thought. It began to change the way he delegated to other people. And in time, he became a pretty good manager as well. So I would encourage you to think about what is the highest and best use of your time. And there's an awful lot of things that you do that you don't need to do. One of the things in this process is you're going to make cold calls. I do think that that's something you have to personally do for a whole lot of reasons, not the least of which most people are afraid of cold calls. And when you begin to do that, you will expand your comfort zone. In fact, you'll find that you get out of being afraid to do those pretty quickly. The other thing is you'll probably send letters. And I've had mentees that have sent 500 letters in a week. They typed the letters, they signed the letters, they stuffed the envelopes. And when I spoke with that person, he told me that it took him about all 5 or 7 days, 10 hours a day to do that. Okay, so that's a reasonably menial job, right? So is that something that he should have done? No. And he's come to realize that pretty quickly, actually. And he ended up getting a VA who does that, virtual assistant. And he found in that process that how did I ever live without that person? And so I would encourage you again to look into a virtual assistant. There are all kinds of things that you can have them do. They can manage email. They can do data work, which is one of the most common things. Look for email addresses, look for names on your target list, etc. A lot of people end up saying, well, I can't afford that. And if you go to something like onlinejobs.ph, O-N-L-I-N-E, jobs.ph, you will be introduced to people in the Philippines. Typically, the cost of that is $3 to maybe as high as $5 an hour. So pretty inexpensive. You can get someone to work 40 hours a week for you. You can get people to work less than that. It's important, however, to manage that process as well. And again, a person who was looking for a VA ended up putting an ad there with the requirements. He got, 160 responses or so. He then asked that they send a 2 to 3 minute video on why they should get the job. And he only got, I think it was 15 responses out of those 160, so basically 10%. I think it might have been actually less than that. So that's a way, too, that you can work smart as opposed to working, going through all those 160 people that applied. So think about VAs. Think about how they can end up helping you. Think about always what's the highest and best use of my time. And typically that is looking for deals, looking for capital, and then at a higher level, looking at the KPIs, key performance indicators of the businesses you acquire, and manage those who are managing the business. Your job is not to run the business day to day, but you do have to manage those who are running it day to day. So I hope that helps. Again, it's online, online jobs.ph. I have no connection to it, but the people that have gone there, they've had a good experience. But remember the highest and best use of your time, and is the activity you're doing fall into that category, or does it fall into maybe a comfortable job or task that you're just doing because you either don't think anyone else can do it, or you've just never thought about asking someone else to do it. If you are on my mailing list, great. If not, go over to brucewhipple.com, grab the free material that's there. I think that'll be helpful. There's also group coaching, boot camp courses, etc., if you don't know what the process is. And if you want the free class directly, just go.brucewhipple.com/free class. Hope this is helpful. It's intended each time I do one of these to give you actionable items, and that's what this one has done as well.